Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is your weekly horoscope for Monday the 3rd of September going through until Sunday the 9th of September 2018. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to give you a day-by-day rundown of what is happening in the skies this week. So I look at the relationships the planets are forming with each other and how that affects you here on planet Earth. This is a forecast for all the signs. Now, on my monthly horoscopes that I do for each sun sign of the zodiac, so Sagittarius and Capricorn and Aquarius, I noticed a comment that said that I've fallen into the Virgo trap of going into too much detail in my readings, too much astrological jargon. So I'm going to give you a rundown of this week, focusing on what it actually means for you every day. I will still give you what's going on in terms of the astrology, because I see that as kind of proof of what I'm talking about. I will still give you the information, but I'll try and be more concise with it. So on Monday the 3rd of September, the pace is going to seem really comfortable and easy as you move into the new week. And that's because there's a last quarter moon happening in Gemini at 2:39 in the morning on Monday the 3rd. And when the moon is in its last quarter, it's between being a full moon and moving towards a new moon. And it's waning, it's getting darker, it's getting smaller, so it's just calming down, it's just relaxing, and things are kind of, coming, they're peaceful, things are going on that are nice, and they're doing well. Also, there's a strong desire to create, so artistic people will be especially on Monday. There's a wonderful opportunity to really communicate your thoughts and feelings in a precise way. So writing, public speaking, anything where you put yourself in the limelight, that will go easily today without any nerves, even if you are usually afraid of public speaking. So it's a good day to also interview, or to ask for promotion, or to try and make a lateral move. It's a good day of really drawing attention to yourself and saying, this is what I desire, this is what I would like. On Tuesday the 4th of September, we have a day where you may want to help others, but it's in an attempt to help yourself and to heal yourself, really. So instead of doing that, it's like saying, hi, how are you? And you're just waiting for them to ask you how you are so that you can tell them all about your terrible day and what's happened. It's that kind of thing. So instead of being passive aggressive about it and trying to go around the back way, be direct and ask for help. So on Tuesday the 4th, have a massage or a Reiki treatment or a reading. You're not going to feel particularly certain of what's going on with you in terms of your practical circumstances. So something may be changing, and it's really important to take care of yourself today, to pamper yourself. So the reason for this is that the moon goes into Cancer. It's very nurturing and emotional, whereas the last quarter moon on Monday was in Gemini, which was much more communicative, and Cancer is a water sign that's much more about healing and taking care of other people. So that Cancer moon also squares Chiron in Aries, it sextiles Uranus and Taurus, and it opposes Saturn, the planet of structure, in Capricorn. So if you want to do something nice for yourself, I recently have again really got into ASMR videos, which are just these whispering videos. And there's one person in particular I watched. It's her channel is called Gentle Whispering, and there's one video which has like 15 million views on it, and it is so relaxing. I don't think I've ever made it to the end of it. I'm always like zonked out by the end of that video. It's amazing. So Monday, Tuesday, you can see that it's about healing. It's kind of about the pace being slower. It's about all of these big outer planets in Taurus and in Capricorn, so in the earth signs, to kind of come together and to say, okay, things are kind of grounded at the moment. It's a good time for you to take care of yourself. And, charity begins at home. So if you're not in a good place, you can't really help others. On Wednesday, the 5th of September, Mercury, the communication planet, goes into Virgo. Hooray! And Mercury rules Virgo, so it really is a hooray because Mercury loves being in Virgo. It rules Virgo and Gemini. So when Mercury is in Gemini, it's about communicating, it's about being charming, and it's about taking risks. It's about walking through different doorways of opportunity and really having fun. When it's in Virgo, it's about really being teachable. You become a sponge that just wants to absorb information. So on Wednesday the 5th, the communication planet is going to have a really strong and direct impact on you. Especially if you're someone who's going back into education here early in the autumn. The student angels and the gods are smiling down on you to help you absorb information like a sponge, okay? So in the UK here, I think when university starts, they have a freshers week where everyone just parties and has fun. I would suggest that in that freshers week that you get your books together and that you start actually learning what you're supposed to be learning. And for the rest of us, the people who aren't going back into education, but still, you know, people who are working or retired or, students I've talked about, anybody, really, for the rest of us, it's a great time to continue to learn and just to absorb information best way we can. Because Mercury in Virgo just craves info. It's a great time for people who work in jobs that require real detail and analysis. So graphic designers and technical illustrators and people at Pixar, you know, who make those animated movies. Accountants, experts in any field, nurses, medical practitioners really benefit from Mercury being in Virgo. And in terms of surgery, if anyone is having surgery this week with Mercury being in Virgo, it's the best time to have surgery. Because the communication planet and people's thinking, the doctor is doing the surgery, he's not going to miss anything. They may even discover something that you wouldn't have noticed under normal circumstances. So if you are going into hospital this week, or if you are having an operation or something, you're in the best hands possible, because Mercury and Virgo on point. So Mercury stays in each sign for a couple of weeks, so make the most of this. On Thursday, the 6th of September, you feel a greater sense of confidence within yourself. So ideas that you've been sitting on and that you've been building are now ready to be born into the real world and will now be able to come to fruition with Saturn, the planet of structure and security and foundation, going direct today. So Saturn is an outer planet. The outer planets are in retrograde for usually like half a year, some of them even longer. So we don't take these outer planets as they don't influence you as much as, for instance, a Mercury retrograde or a Mars or Venus retrograde, because those are your personal planets and they have a direct impact on you. These outer planets are more about the world and what's going on generationally. So the fact that you have now got Saturn going direct means that you've got a lot of stuff that you've been brewing and that you've been getting ready to implement, and with Saturn going direct, it paves your way to actually do that. Saturn retrograde versus Saturn direct. So Saturn retrograde, it will give you a sense of confidence and structure within yourself, but it will also make you more reluctant to build things. It will say, oh, this is too hard, or I shouldn't do it. Saturn is a mixed blessing because it forces you to really look hard at what you're doing and whether it's right. If it is right, then it says, go for it, do it. So when it's in retrograde, it's about looking at these inner things, and it's like, I've got an idea to change my job. Is that aligned with my soul purpose? Yes, it is. Okay, let's do it. When Saturn is direct, you get structures and opportunities to have more security in your life via the external world. So for instance, you've now been sitting on these ideas, they're hatching, you're launching the business. 6th of September is an amazing day to start a business with Saturn going direct, because the opportunities that are going to come your way now are more from external sources rather than yourself. So it may be that the store that you've always wanted is now there, or that the publishing company gets in touch with you, or if you're doing makeup, that they send you a PR kit, that something from the external world matches what you've been trying to realize for so long now, and you get a payoff on Thursday the 6th of September. On Friday the 7th, you're so adept at learning on this day, because during the period of Mercury being in Virgo, you're going to be hyper vigilant, so you pay attention to everything and to what's going around you. So make sure that you don't overwhelm yourself, because really, even if you don't want to listen, you'll find yourself listening in and hearing everything and really being vigilant. So if you wanted to start a business, learn how to do it, and you can do it. If you wanted to learn astrology, enroll in a course. If you've wanted to become a makeup guru on YouTube, start doing it. You know, these 2 days, Friday and Thursday, with Saturn going direct, we're really getting the boat heaving its heavy weight out of the harbor now and going on its journey, going on its cruise. And this isn't the Titanic. This is a good luxury cruise ship you can trust, and it's now leaving the harbor and it's off to fulfill its mission. So you can trust this. So any ideas that you get here midweek, Thursday and Friday, so yeah, any ideas, really take those seriously and say, hang on, I actually want to do this, and then do it. On Saturday the 8th of September, you start to understand what your life is and what it looks like in reality. So, you know, if you've been working as a coal miner, but in your head you've been seeing yourself as this dandy who's just fabulous, or you make up lies, or you've been lying about what you do, you really start to see, you know, this is who I really am, this is what I do, and no denial, just the veil of facades and everything has been pulled back. You stop kidding yourself if you have been. If you haven't been kidding yourself, if you've been in touch with yourself and your truth, then you're fine. But if you have been in a situation where, you know, the reality hasn't matched what you've been telling people, what you've been thinking about, that comes crashing down today. So you have, when that comes falling apart, you're not just left with ruins. What you're left with is hope that you can make things better through hard work. And not only that, you find the specific, concrete ways in how you do that. Selling your own makeup, writing a book, getting a new qualification. And the reason for this is that the Virgo energy is heightened even more now. So we've got the moon going into Virgo as well. Venus is in Libra, so the creative planet is in a sign that it rules. So it loves to express itself creatively. That squares Mars in Capricorn, so there's friction. I want to create things beautifully, and Mars is pushing me to work and to actually do it. The Virgo moon conjuncts Mercury in Virgo, so it's all about absorbing info and feeling really comfortable about doing that. And they try Uranus and Taurus, the big boys, and Saturn in Capricorn, so very earthy. So it's about really looking at your ideas and then getting concrete, specific answers. It's not vague, you know, like, oh, you should work in medicine. It's like, no, it's really specific. You're meant to, for instance, be a, you know, heart surgeon. Now on Sunday the 9th of September, you're able to cast this critical and constructive eye that you've had from Thursday, and you can not only apply it to your work, which is what you've been doing, really, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but on Sunday you can also cast that eye. It's like the eye of Sauron now, almost kind of scary. Because remember, when you're pointing at someone, 3 fingers are pointing back, that old thing. but it's reality, it's truth. So you cast that critical eye on your relationships and do the same thing as you did with your career the day before on Saturday. So if you looked at the job and said, this is for me, this is really where I'm meant to be, then great, fabulous, everything's sorted. But if it isn't, you stop kidding yourself and you're like, this is no longer me. I need to get out of this. So it's really about your eyes being opened and the veils falling away and the rose-tinted spectacles coming off, all of that bit. You have the time and the presence of mind on Sunday the 9th to step back and to look at your relationships and to really see what it is in reality, to identify the problems and then to find an immediate practical solution to that problem. So, I'm with a man who is controlling and who doesn't appreciate me. He's always on my case about where I go, what I do, so I need to plan my escape very, very carefully. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get another phone, because estate agents will call you and that'll be obvious. And you get in touch with estate agents and you take the money that you save, for example, and you find a place that you can rent and you sort all of that out, and then you leave. You give yourself a practical escape out before you address anything, before you talk about anything. So you find the solution to the problem first, you remove yourself from the situation, and then you deal with it. And then you say, actually, I no longer wanted to be with you. And that's much easier than saying, oh, you criticize me all the time and you're so controlling. Instead of trying to change someone, which you're never going to be able to do anyway, you can change your own circumstances. So it's a double-edged sword, I would say, because we can all look at our friends and say, oh, she doesn't give me as much attention as I give her, or he's really self-absorbed and I can never get in touch with him, so he's not a real friend. We can cut off everybody in our lives because everyone's imperfect and everyone is self-involved at times. So this critical view in your work, it's important because your work really is where your value really doesn't need to be underused, and that's what happens mostly, especially my generation, like the 0-hour contracts, the terrible pay, the huge demands qualification-wise and education-wise to do terrible, boring jobs. It's difficult at the moment. So look at that Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and you really, that's something, the decisions you make this week are things that may really change your life, and in 2 years or in a year or in 6 months down the road, your life could be totally different as a result of the choices you make. And then on Sunday, we've got that shift to relationships, and again, what I was saying is, don't be so quick to get rid of people. But if you are in a relationship and you've really been in denial, and for the first time you see, oh my God, this man is a nightmare, or this woman is a nightmare. I need to, she hits me, or she controls me, and I've just put it down because I just adore her so much, and I've ignored it because she's just so beautiful, or whatever it is. You get real with yourself. It's because on Sunday the 9th we have a new moon in Virgo. So a new moon is when the sun and the moon sit together and they suck in energy in. And they're sucking in Virgo energy, and that new moon happens at 6:03 in the evening based on UK time. Venus also goes into Scorpio, so Venus wants to be really intense, the love planet. And the Virgo moon opposes Neptune in Pisces, it sextiles Jupiter in Scorpio and Pluto in Capricorn. So it's a big day. I'm going to make a separate video on the new moon in Virgo. Have a look at that. Give you more information there because the new moons can be quite complicated. But really, that recipe that we've got today is all about having that critical eye and absorbing the Virgo energy. And because Venus is in Scorpio, Scorpio is able to dive down to the emotional truth and to get to the real core problem of what's going on. And because Scorpio can do that, and it's Venus, planet of love, You're going to dive down to how you really feel about this person, and your answer will come back crystal clear. You know, if you haven't slept together for 2 years and you look at your relationship, and you will know it's either because she doesn't want to or because you don't want to. It's either one person or the other. It's not that, oh, you know, I'm just going through a dry spell at the moment, I just don't feel like it. I mean, there are the exceptions, I suppose, but if it's been years and years and years, if you look at it without denial, you really see the truth. So check out the new moon video. I hope you have a wonderful week here. If you would like a private reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab to audio reading. And in my personal readings, I use astrology, tarot, and numerology. So I draw up your natal chart by using your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. If you don't have the time of birth, get in touch. There's a process called chart rectification, and I can rectify your chart. Get in touch about that. My assistant has told me I should put it on the website along with curse removals and something else, chart rectification, and there was one other service that I do which aren't on the website, so you have to email me about that. Anyway, once I've got your birth chart worked out, your time of birth worked out, and then I've got your birth chart drawn up, I really have a blueprint of your soul. It's amazing what it can do. It shows me what your life purpose is, where you've been in past lifetimes, what you're meant to do in this lifetime, and vocationally where you're gifted and where you'll succeed. It also shows me what's destined for you in certain areas like health and spiritual progress, money, career, family, intellect, communication, fame, moving around, where the best place for you is. So all of those things can really easily be looked at in a personal reading. So if you're interested in that, please get in touch via the website gregoryscott.com. Hit the subscribe button on this channel. I have discovered that I can go live on YouTube, so if you hit subscribe and you make sure the bell is on, sometimes I come on live with tarot cards, and if you have a question, you can ask me the question. I will see it and I will pull a tarot card to answer your question. So make sure you subscribe. Have a wonderful week. Check out some of my other videos, the daily tarot, the monthly horoscope for your sun sign for September is out, so check those out. Watch the one for your sun sign first, and then watch the one for your rising sign, because these weeklies are for all signs of the zodiac. Have a look at those, and yeah, I hope you have a great week, and I'll speak to you next week.